Welcome back. And today we'll be continuing with the book of Job, and we'll be reading I'll be sharing from 17 to 20. Now Job continues to defend his innocence, saying that he's surrounded by mockers and calls on God to defend his innocence. His perspective seems to have shifted a little from playing the victim to desiring vindication, and he elicits God's help to stand up for him against his mockers and bad friends. Now, this was in the first part of chapter 17, and I thought this was really good. I mean, he did lament, his situation, but then I saw when his perspective changed that he was like, no, God, you have to come and answer me. These people are saying all these kind of things, against me. And I thought that was really, powerful. In 17:10, he tells his friends that even though they keep coming back with seemingly better arguments, he still didn't consider any of them wise. Hashtag the shade of 1,000 palm trees. Now, Bildad got upset and goes on yet another rant. And Job responds exasperated, pointing out that as much as he's tortured and insulted him, he was talking about how much he had mocked and insulted him. And I think he even said it, you've insulted me like 10 times. Job was definitely counting. Notice how he continues to talk about all the calamities of the wicked. And this is Bildad now, insinuating that these are all the things that Job deserves. Now, this one thing that did come out to me was when you read any of the friends, that's Eliphaz, Zilpah, or Zophar, and they keep naming all the things that are accrued to the wicked, even though they were pointing it at Job. I read it, like I stepped out of myself and read it, and I was like, gosh, yeah, I don't want to be one of the wicked people, because these are some very, very heavy curses and calamities that will come upon them. One key and very interesting thing that stood out to me was in chapter 19:25, when Job talked about how his Redeemer was alive and that he'll stand upon the earth at the last. Now, to me, that was such a revelation. Zophar replies again in 20, and what I will say from his friends' tirades is that we can clearly get a sense of the recompense of the wicked and the godless. For me, it just made me consider my ways. Even though the friends, as they were talking, obviously they were directing that towards Job, but in this instance, he was the one who was innocent. They could have been considered wicked, So all I know is that it's a terrible fate, and I don't want to be on the receiving end of that. Let's get to my getting to know God lesson for this. Job, in the midst of all his pain and suffering, identified God as his Redeemer. Now, I believe that was very prophetic, because that word talked about, in my mind, the first thing that it took me to was Jesus. Jesus is our Redeemer, and he has come, as at today, as at now, 2,000 years ago, he has come on the earth, and he has redeemed us, and he will come again. So I felt this was sort of like a reference to maybe both the first and the second coming of Christ as our Redeemer. I believe that God gave him that revelation, and he was announcing his hope, and which was what I thought was so awesome, because in the midst of all the things that he had talked about that was so terrible, he said, I know my Redeemer lives. And that's so amazing. I've probably said it one too many times here, but God really is a redeemer. He redeems situation. So even at that point in time, Job knew that his situation will be redeemed. And if Job knew this, I think we should too. So thank you for joining me again, and I'll see you again tomorrow, where we'll continue in the book of Job. It's getting interesting now. You too, you must admit. All right, see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful evening. Bye.